a bit of a look at how this truck die or this truck box die works, and I'm going to put together one of these so that you can see just how sort of easy they are to make these cute little boxes. They are boxes, so you can open the top and you can pop things inside if you like, or of course you can keep them closed and have it as a little ornament or as a plaything for the kids. I know my kids, this is why I've already got 3 of them for the 3 eldest kids so far, because once they saw them they just wanted to play with them. And I know, for example, like Miriam did a really cute one where she put a little Lego man inside, so lots of possibilities for this. But the original idea, I believe, was to make it into a little box that you can tuck sweets or treats in there, and that's why the sweet treat sentiment stamp goes well with this set as well, and I'll show you how to use that. So the first thing I wanted to show you is this is all of the pieces that you get when you purchase the die. So there's lots and lots of little intricate pieces, and because they are so small, they come together in these little blocks, or there was a few of them stuck in here. But I'm going to keep them like this just so that I minimize the chance that I'll lose all of these little pieces. But I have separated a few of them. But the main piece, of course, is this the actual truck die. Now this is a larger die. This is approximately 9.5 inches long and about 6 inches wide. So the easiest recommendation for cutting this out is if you've got an extended platform for your die cutting machine. But I know that not everybody does, and I wanted to show you that it is very easy and very possible to do it just with sort of an ordinary machine. And I've just got my Big Shot here. So let me cut that piece out just to show you how you would do that without an extended platform. Now I've cut a piece of blue cardstock that is just big enough to fit my die on, so it is just over that 9.5 inches by 6 inches wide. Now the 6 inches wide is not the problem with this, because that will fit through the machine. It's that most people have plates that are this long, which I think is, I don't know, 8 inches long. So you're just going to cut off the edge bit if you try to just put this through in one pass. So here's my trick. This is what I do. I, of course, lay the die on top of my cardstock so that it fits. I'm just going to grab a little bit of washi tape to hold it in place at one end. And then I'm going to put the other end to go through first. So I'm going to run this bit through just as much as you want. So I'm just going to push it all the way through and just slide that back so you can see. Now you can tell if I flip this over that it hasn't cut out just the end bit here, because that's where the plate ran out, but that's where I've put the tape. Okay, so now all we have to do to cut out that last bit is now put that bit through on the plates. The kids are obviously discovered the trucks and they're having to play. See, I told you, they can't keep their hands off them. So fun. And now that is done. So now it has cut out that piece. So you absolutely don't need to have an extended cutting platform to cut this die out. You just need to have a little bit of sort of patience and creativity to make that work, but that's quite easy, right? Then the other thing, of course, is that there's all of these little bits and pieces, and you might be wondering what all of those bits are for. And there are just tons of options here. I think, you know, Miriam, who designed this, has just left it open to your imagination about how you wanted to use all of the pieces. And you can have a look, for example, this is the front of 2 of them that I've put together. So some similarities and some differences. The wheels are fairly standard. The back, of course, you can do differently or not. So that's what all the different pieces are. So you can do all of the little different decorations here and really make it as individual as you would like. Now, we are going to put this truck die together, and it's really easy. There's all these score lines marked on here from the die. So all you have to do is fold all of them. Now, every single one of them, bar one of these folds, you fold inwards. And what I mean by that is to fold in towards the middle. And so I find it easy just literally to fold all of them in towards the middle, and then you'll figure out when we start putting it together which is the one that actually has to fold outwards, and it is this one. I've learnt because I have put so many of them together. But if you'd folded it inwards to begin with, then when it came to it, it'd be easy enough just to fold it back the other way around. To get a really nice crease, it would be really good to use a bone folder here, but I have got quite strong fingernails, so I tend to just do my fingernails because I know that they won't break, but I know some people would prefer to use a bone folder. So that's all of the pieces folded inwards, all of those little tabs folded inwards. Now, if you were going to you can use this, so this is the windscreen and these are the windows, the side windows. You can use these dies to actually cut out the holes if you would like, or you can cut out pieces of cardstock like this and stick them on. Can I just have this one for a minute, Judah? I'll just show them. So this is the one where I actually cut out the windscreen and the windows. Now, if you're going to cut out the windows, just a little piece of advice is because these tabs are going to go behind here, you want to set your window fairly well back so that you can't see where you need to stick the tab. Does that make sense? And of course, you would cut out all of these pieces now before you put this together. The other thing that would be easier to do at the moment if you were going to would be to stamp anything on the side. So I haven't stamped sweet treats on a truck yet, so let's do sweet treats. Can I have, you're stealing my acrylic block. So definitely easiest to do this at this point in time, of course, while everything's still flat, and just stamp that on the side of the truck where you want it to be. Of course, you can stamp both sides. And there are some other little flourishes in here as well, so you can really individualize this. Now, the next thing you want to do, of course, is assemble all of this and put it all together. So I am using double-sided tape. I found that that's the easiest, and I think this is 1/8 of an inch wide. And I go ahead and put tape on all of the tabs, again, bar a couple. So not the top ones if you want it to be a box, and not this end one if you want it to be a box, but all the rest of them.
What happens if you don't want it to be a box?
Good question, Mariah. If you didn't want it to be a box, then of course you would put double-sided tape on all of these tabs so that you could just stick it together.
What would it turn out as?
Well, just like this, but you wouldn't be able to lift the lid off it. So we're going to make this one into a box. Easy done. So I find it easiest to then put the front panel together first. So I'm going to remove the tape, and then it's quite intuitive. You'll find that it's quite easy to figure out which bits go together with which bits. And removing double-sided tape as you go along. Judah? What are you going to tape together with the tape?
My head.
Your head. Don't tape Mariah's head. She needs it.
My head.
Your head.
My.
So putting all of those bits together, and that's what I mean about don't put the tape on these top panels if you want it to be a box, and then we can tape up the bottom piece as well.
Helmet.
And that's it. That is the basis of your box. So you can just pop the lid on, just like that. Now, the other thing to point out is if you are wanting to fill this with smaller treats like M&Ms or something small, you will see that there are holes down the bottom where the wheels pop out. So if you're planning on putting something smaller in here that might fall through those holes, then my advice would be is just to cut another little square of cardstock that can fit down the bottom there just to block them up. But otherwise, this is big enough to fit larger treats in there as well. So,
like a block of chocolate, like a small one?
Maybe a little block of chocolate or some wrapped lollies, things like that. Now, I've gone ahead and cut out a whole bunch of all of these pieces, and I don't really have sort of a plan in mind, so I've just cut out a bunch of different pieces, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue them on. I find that that's the easiest way to go ahead. So there are some really obvious pieces, like this larger square is the front windshield, and I've cut that in white, and the front windows. You've just got to figure out which one is which. So I've got all my pieces down here.
Not cutting them out super fast.
And then the wheels, of course, are quite intuitive as well. But then after that, I find that that's when it's really up to your sort of creativity or imagination or your desire about how many of these other little pieces you wanted to put on and what design you wanted to make. My other little hint with all the little pieces though is that I found a little trick, if you wanted to do so, is to cut them all out in white cardstock rather than thinking about which shape do I want in what color. Because one trick would be, once you've cut it out in the white cardstock and then you've stuck it on in place, is that you could then color it in different colors with like a marker or some paint, and or even just a pen. You could draw different designs on there, and that's that makes it a little bit easier rather than having to, you know, pull out 16 different colored cardstocks and figure out which shape you want in which color. And what I mean by that is, for example, these are the headlights that I'm going to put on the front. They're so tiny. It does get a little bit fiddly. Of course, you can use little craft tweezers or something like that to make your life easier. Oops. Not glue them to the table. But once they are glued on, then you can take a marker and colour them in. And I did the same with writing on the little number plates as well. So similarly with these things. So that just might be a little trick to save you some time. So that's it. You can see that there are lots and lots of different pieces and lots of different variations about how you might want to put this together. But this is super cute and just full of endless possibilities, and I'm sure you're going to have a ton of fun playing around with this new die. Any other questions about this, feel free to, of course, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them all. But otherwise, go ahead and get creative and have fun. See you later.